Wow, 50 episodes. I must be insane. Oh well, on with the show. Vortex. Now this was being advertised as the new best thing for the Super FX chip. Think Starwing, only your vehicle could morph into other vehicles and you had full 360-degree movement. Who wouldn't be excited by that? Well, that excitement was very badly misplaced. The first thing you notice is that the graphics don't look as good as either Starwing or Stunt Race FX. The environments are sparse and dull and everything lacks character. You don't even have full 360-degree movement anyway. All the levels are set on very strict paths that you can't deviate from. The main catch is that your machine can morph. You've got the walker mode and the jet mode and the car mode and the shell mode. So many people were quick to criticise Starwing for not having full 360-degree movement, but there was a reason for that. The game was better for it, and Vortex demonstrates this amply. I have no idea where I am or where my enemy is right now. This is a mess. Look, Vortex has some cool ideas, but it's just really sloppily executed, and it's not fun. Especially today, where the graphics aren't anything resembling cool anymore, this game bites the big one.
Virtua Racing!
Virtua Racing was massive in the arcades. It was Sega's spiritual predecessor to the evergreen Daytona USA, which I still see around to this day. It's weird to think that the home version of Virtua Racing was being released around the same time that Daytona was hitting arcades. There always seemed to be a generational gap between home and arcade games. Anyway, as with all the arcade ports, they're never as fun when you're playing them on your own with a TV. They're made to be played with other people in a big plastic model car. But as far as Virtual Racing goes, it's a pretty accurate port, especially the 32X version. Let's discuss the 32X briefly, shall we? It was Sega's idea of jumping a generation without actually releasing a whole new console. You plugged your 32X into your Mega Drive and suddenly you could play amazing next-gen games like Virtua Racing. Except the games didn't really seem like anything that couldn't have been done on a normal Mega Drive. It was overpriced, there were only about 30 games ever released for it. It was just one of the industry's biggest balls-ups. It's up there with the Virtual Boy. But as stupid as the 32X was, it obviously did have some technical advantages. I mean, look at the difference between the Mega Drive version of Virtual Racing and the 32X version. There's more polygons, they're better textured, there's less dithering, and the frame rate's better. So anyway, playing Virtual Racing you can choose from 3 cars and 5 tracks. There's the obligatory 2-player mode, more fun if you've got someone to actually race against, and some time attacks, the usual stuff. The cars all control pretty differently as well, which is good. I like the way you can change your point of view as well. I played around with it a bit, but I think I like the distance view the best. So you start your race, but after you get ahead of the initial pack, you're just driving along on big empty roads, which it gets kind of boring. I'd be driving along, thinking to myself, come on, give me a red shell to throw or something. The game itself works fine, but it's been superseded by similar games with better graphics, Daytona for one, and it's a game that just worked better in the arcade. In 2012, it still plays alright, but it looks like balls. I've included Wario's Woods onto the list not because it's a great game or anything, it's just historic because it's the last NES game that Nintendo ever published. There's absolutely nothing outstanding in Wario's Woods, it's yet another Tetris clone with a bit of Mario Land spin. It's actually a bit more like Dr. Mario than Tetris, but the main difference is you actually control a character down in the drop zone. You play as Toad and your job is to line up the coloured bombs to make the little tree monsters disappear. In that regard, it's extremely similar to Dr. Mario, but instead of controlling the dropping objects, you're in charge of rearranging them. If you really wanted to play Wario's Woods, you wouldn't get the NES version anyway. There was a Super version released at the same time. Pretty much the same game, just nicer presentation. Like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, this game was a bit challenging for me, mainly because I found it difficult to wrap my head around the strategies I needed to use. It's a decent puzzle game and it's well enough presented for the NES, but you'd need to invest some time to become good at it. You'd have to ask yourself, is it really worth the time? So bottom line, Wario's Woods is absolutely nothing spectacular. It can sit, but it marks the end of an amazing console's life, one which I look back on with an enormous amount of fondness. Farewell Nintendo Entertainment System, and thanks for the memories. Wait, what's that? What's that music? One of my all-time favourites. Leave me alone, I've got a world to save. Peace out.